Here we are, playing Sakura Spirit, the visual novel. Title screen's pretty good, greeted with 4 chicks with huge boobs. I mean, it's a great start already. What do you think, Hannah?
Hmm?
What do you think about the boobs?
Boobs are nice.
Okay. So, let's get started. Every person has a dream they wish to pursue.
Mine is eating donuts.
Yet, as people grow up, they often come to realize the truth. Dreams are nothing more than fairy tales. That sucks. At least, that's what most people say, except for Hannah. She's eating donuts. Then, what about those who do end up accomplishing their dreams? Are they merely incredibly lucky? Not Hannah. Dad, every man has a dream he wants to accomplish. However, there is something really important you should know, my boy. A real man doesn't give up on his dream, no matter what overwhelming challenges he might have to face. I still remember those foolish words my dad used to say, but despite their silly nature, I found myself inspired by them. Ever since I was a young child, I have been interested in martial arts. It didn't matter whether I watched a match on television or read a manga about some heroic martial artist. It has always been my dream to become a martial artist one day. Of course, it was a bit childish of me to think that I could become a hero simply by learning martial arts, even though I already understood that superheroes were nothing more than figments of my imagination. Figments of your own imagination. Nobody else knows about Superman. Nobody else except for you. I mean me. I still had a desire to use my strength for the sake of others. My name is Gucci-ken Takahiro, a 17-year-old rising judo star. And no, that's not me bragging. I'm actually about to take part in a tournament 2 weeks from now that could make or break my career on an international level. Of course, I was excited about the opportunity to finally accomplish my dreams and represent my country at a sport that I loved, but the same excitement also made me feel incredibly nervous. And while those worrisome thoughts haunted my mind, a familiar voice resounded from outside the window. Oi! Taka-kun! Get your butt in gear. Okay, I'll be right there, Goyomi. I don't even know. Not wanting to keep Kiyomi waiting, I quickly dashed toward the front door to let her in, not even realizing that I was still in my pajamas. Uh-oh. Hold on a second, Kiyomi. Gotta grab my shoes before we head off to school. Really? I never realized our school had a strict uniform or sleepwear policy. Nice jammies, by the way. Did you borrow them from your mom? For a moment, my eyes drifted downwards. Noticing that I was indeed wearing my pajamas, I let out a groan of annoyance and marched back towards my room. Bah! There's nothing wrong with my jammies. The Golden Knight is a famous comic book hero in the West. Besides, not everyone prefers to sleep naked like you. Mumbling those words, I started stripping out of my clothes, not particularly minding the presence of the girl behind me. That only happened once! You know very well it was super hot that night. And geez, warn me before you strip naked in front of me, you idiot. Baka. You didn't seem to mind it when we were little. Maybe you want me to turn around instead. No! Stop! Don't make me kick your ass! I decided I would tease her enough and quickly pulled on my pants, proceeding with the remaining few items of clothing before I was suitably dressed for school. Besides, I had a reason for being so distracted. You've been distracted a lot lately. What's going on in that hollow skull of yours? It's that upcoming match. She is Edge. I have no idea how anyone can remain calm when an international career is at stake. I wouldn't be surprised if I have made up enough doomsday scenarios to fill up the apocalypse genre. Noise. Oh right, the judo thing. I'm sure you'll do fine. I've seen some of your matches, and you kick butt. And of course, if you're really worried, you could always pray. Pray? What? Don't tell me you don't know. It's one of the school's legends. Apparently there's some shrine out in the forest that, if you pray to it, it brings good luck. Ichikawa-san said that. His sister prayed to it the night before her exam and she got a perfect score. A shrine that is said to bring you good luck. Sounds like bogus to me. But at this point I'm willing to try anything, I guess. Her mouth's open and she's blushing. I'll ask Ichikawa-san about the location. I'm not exactly in the mood to get lost in the forest and end up a modern-day Tarzan. Okay. Well, whatever. If you do go looking, at least send me a message to let me know. And will you hurry up? We're going to be late again. A hero's never too early, nor are they too late. They arrive precisely when they are needed. But for the sake of avoiding detention, let's hurry. That's a wizard, not a hero, genius. How can one person be such a sports nerd and such a geek at the same time? Let's not forget the Casanova and Man of the Year candidate bits. They're important details. I doubt you qualify for either one of them, Pajama Boy. Anyway, let us boldly go where everyone has gone before to school. Ugh, nerd. God. Several hours later. Period, period, period. Period, 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 period. More periods. Black screen. Later that day, I finally got a chance to talk to my classmate about the location of the shrine that Koyomi had mentioned earlier. Gym was the last thing on the schedule for today, so once people got ready to go home, I approached the guy. Hey, Ichikawa, is it true that your sister discovered some shrine that is said to bring you good luck? Oh ho ho, let me guess, you want to date her? Well, even though I do have to admit that she's very attractive, I'm afraid she's already going out with someone. Not to mention, you're not her type. I already got my hands full dealing with Koyomi. You can keep your sister to yourself. Joke aside, I'm more interested in that shrine. Ooh. Did she mention where she found it? I didn't know there was anything near the forest aside from the dojo. Oh, well,
Shrine?
She said something about it being near a river. That's very helpful. And quite high up, to be honest.
Our shrine's near a river?
I wasn't paying too much attention when she was going on about it.
Wet.
No, it's not wet yet. I mean, she was wearing this top and it was tight and... Stop. I seriously don't need to hear the details and I doubt anybody else is interested. So do you know anyone who might have heard about that shrine? Are you guys talking about that lucky shrine out in the forest? This guy is like drooling. That one, the one and only, according to Ichikawa's sister. There's supposed to be one near a river. I don't know about that, but there's this fiery girl at the Sakura dojo who knows more about it. Wait, are you talking about Arya-sama? About this tall, ridiculously strong, and super scary? That's the one. Oh, in that case, I believe I can still be of help. Takehiro-kun, I know where that place is. Of course you do. We both do. You just want to tag along, don't you? I don't think Arya-senpai will appreciate you visiting her with your usually tricks in mind. Do I need to remind you what happened last time you tried to peek at her after she finished practice? Blood, sweat, and tears. Shut up. I don't peep on the ladies. That's slander, you know. I should sue you. I would never look upon Arya-sama's glorious body in any state of nudity. Oh, so you haven't seen her naked yet? I've seen a bit of side boob, but the whole I found didn't really let me get a good view of. There we go. Someone call the cops. Ichikawa, the peeping Tom, has confessed. I playfully patted Ichikawa's shoulder as I turned around, grabbing my bag in the process and prepared to leave. Thanks for the tip, Ichikawa. I'll let the judge know you were the most helpful during the interrogation. This is unfair. I was coerced. I won't say another word until I speak with my lawyer. Periods. Once school was over, I decided to take my chances with the little bit of intel I had managed to obtain from my classmates. If memory served me right, Arya-senpai would be practicing at the dojo today. Of course I knew her. She was a judo student just like myself. For whatever reason, she has been refusing to compete in any tournament for a while now. Arya-senpai, are you around? I shouted her name as I parked my bike, looking around for any sign of the girl. Whoa! Yeah! Heh, follow the shouts and you'll find her. I grinned briefly as I saw Arya seemingly in the middle of practicing a series of motions, almost as if she was fighting an imaginary opponent. Perhaps now was a perfect opportunity to surprise her a little. I snuck closer, making sure to make as little noise as possible before I reached a hand towards her shoulder. Arya, feeling a hand on her shoulder, Arya reacted. She grabbed hold of my hand, and with a loud grunt, shifted her weight, curling and tipping me over her shoulder. Intermission. Okay, we are back. I didn't have time to brace myself for the impact before I hit the ground like a sack of potatoes. I like that. I like that simile. Sack of potatoes. I have become one with my inner sack of potatoes.
I want to be a sack of donuts.
Everybody has like blushy faces, it's hilarious. Yeah! No one sneaks up on the great Kunoichi Arya. Oh, Taka boy. I didn't realize it was you. I'm sorry, are you okay? Kunoichi. More like Tasmanian devil. That throw didn't even have a shred of mercy in it. There's no mercy in the ring, Taka boy.
I think like a mythical land. How do they know what a Tasmanian devil is?
No, currently it's in the real world.
Oh, okay. The real
That's
world.
later. The real world. Better that you learn that now than in 2 weeks' time. Let me guess, you want to do some sparring, don't you? I actually came here to ask you something, but I guess a little sparring wouldn't hurt. Oh, what do you want to ask? We've got all afternoon, and I could do with a bit of a break anyway. Where to start? You used to take part in big and important matches in the past, right? Didn't you ever get nervous before going into the ring? Oh yeah, ha! This one time, I got so nervous I hid in the kitchen cupboards until my dad found me and dragged me to the car. Of course, that was when I was like 8. Well, obviously, I can't go and hide from my match, but one of my friends made the stupid suggestion that I go and pray or something. Honestly, at this point, I'll do anything to calm my nerves a little. Taka boy, are you sure about this? You mean the match? Of course I am. I've been practicing judo ever since I was old enough to walk. This is my chance to finally represent this country in the sport I love. Arya seemed to be thinking for quite a long time, and all the while tapping her jaw with a finger. Eventually, she snapped her fingers and grabbed a tight hold of me. Alright, I'll tell you the way to the shrine I know, but it's going to require more than a simple clap of your hands and bob of your head. You need to give something to the shrine, something of value. I guess I'll have to think of something before we get there. Thanks, senpai. I appreciate the help. Oh, no, Taka boy. I'm not going with you. I've got training to do. Besides, you've got to take this step yourself. I can draw you a map and show you an easy way to get back here, but you'll be on your own. You're not tagging along, not even for a little while? Afraid so, Taka boy. Let me just grab some paper. I'll draw that map for you. After Arya's return, quick preparations were made and I followed the directions noted down on the map. Surprisingly, it wasn't all that far. However, the hint on how to find my way back in case I got lost was a bit sketchy. Just look down and you'll be able to see the roof of the dojo from anywhere on the hill. The forest near the dojo was my first challenge to overcome. A narrow path coiled along the trees and nearby was the river Ichikawa's sister had mentioned. I followed Arya's scribbles with a bit of skepticism, but after an hour or so I finally arrived at the supposedly legendary shrine. What you laughing at? The shrine itself seems surprisingly well maintained despite being in the middle of nowhere. It made me wonder if someone could be secretly living there. Perhaps some secret martial artist master? The thought of a hermit living in hiding within the shrine in order to prepare himself for an upcoming battle between good and evil started to dwell in my mind. I guess it's too good to be true. I sighed in annoyance at the fact that, aside from the shrine itself, the ground surrounding it seemed completely abandoned. There was no way anyone could be living there. For the time being, I decided to focus on the reason behind my visit. It only took a few moments before I gathered the courage to approach the building. Once inside, I found a rather fancy-looking altar of sorts at the back of the room. I guess this is the things everyone's talking about. Silently, I folded up the map I had been given. Putting it inside my bag, I approached the altar. I was kind of skeptical about the whole religious aspect, so I wasn't too sure if this was actually going to work. I don't even think luck will do me much good in a match like this. In my opinion, there wasn't any room for things like luck in martial arts. Judo is all about using the knowledge you have gained through training. Of course, a good amount of talent also helps. There was also simply no room for something as superstitious as luck. Clearly, this was going to be a match where my experience and talent would be pushed to their limits, nothing more and nothing less. How curious. This boy doesn't believe in superstition, and yet he stands here surrounded by the very thing he denounces. Denouncing the evils of truth and love. Upon hearing the voice, I looked around, trying to find the source, but there was no one to be seen. Who's there? Quite the cliched question. But the right thing to ask is, where am I? What are you talking about? Show yourself. Not yet. Entertain me for a little while longer, would you? This is no place like no other. Why did you come here, if you do not believe in such things as luck? I came here to prepare myself. Oh, do enlighten me about what this something might be that you are preparing yourself for. Prepare yourself. I felt a little bit annoyed as the questions continued. But maybe if I kept talking to her, I would be able to find out where she was Shell was hiding. Shell was hiding, I'm sorry. I'm preparing for a tournament, a judo match. Judo? What might that be? Seriously, you don't know what judo is? It's highly skilled combat art. Aha, so you're a warrior, hesitant to go into battle and came here in hope of finding the resolve to fight. I'm not sure about the warrior part. How fortunate. It just so happens that there is a need for one of your kind. My kind. A hero. This shrine brings fortune to heroes such as yourself. However, every great hero must sacrifice something in return. Sounds like what the others mentioned. Your version sounds better, though. Laughing briefly at the story, I decided to play along and clap my hands together in prayer. So what's next? Do I offer up my allowance or something? Don't be silly. Money is of little importance to a hero.
So you're gonna be like, look at him, go for that booty.
For you, the sacrifice will be something of much greater value. I will be looking forward to seeing what destiny has in store for you. As if on cue, I began to feel nauseated the moment the girl's words reached my ears, my head spinning wildly. Slowly I staggered backwards, collapsing onto my back. As my vision grew blurry, the sound of approaching footsteps could be heard. Good luck, hero, you're going to need it. Insert boobs. Insert boobs. Despite my attempts to get back up, all I managed was a brief look at the girl. The sight of horns and a tail left many questions, but before I had a chance to utter even a single word, my consciousness succumbed to the darkness. I mean, first off, her outfit has many questions. Second off, I don't know about the hair color thing. That's up for debate. And then, like, the chain around her neck and going down her tail and the gloves and the... Yeah, it's not going normal to me. Okay. So, that ends this part. And we will be doing... Literally Teehee Man, come on. You're messaging me right at the end of it. Not at the end of the game, but... of the part.